Welcome, wrestling fans. We are live from Orlando, Florida for tonight's Battle of the Belts. All right, wrestling fans, we are back here live from Orlando, Florida. The Battle of the Belts. This has become a tradition here in the NWA featuring Championship Wrestling of Florida. Of course, the host for this tremendous night of professional wrestling action. We've got literally the who's who in the industry coming to participate in this event. And that is going to be further evidenced by our opening contest for the AWA World Heavyweight Championship, featuring the top three, the champion and the number 1 and number 2 contenders in a triple threat match. Well, I tell you, it's going to be very exciting to see how this one turns out, because Larry Zbyszko comes in as the heavyweight champion. That is true, but he's got two of the biggest names in the AWA, two of the biggest names in all of wrestling, coming after him, not over the course of a couple of days or a couple of weeks, but at the same time. And it's going to make it very interesting to see if he can come out on top with that title still around his waist. Well, Larry Zbyszko has managed up to this point to defy the critics. He has survived where many felt he was going to fail, and tonight he promises us will be no different. We're about to find out. There is your AWA World Heavyweight Champion, Larry Zbyszko. Well, Rick Martel came very close to taking that title from Mr. Zbyszko just a couple of weeks ago. We already know that whoever the winner is tonight will be defending that title one way or another in the very near future, because they've got a pretty big event coming up in their own right, and it is Super Clash. More on that, I'm sure, as the night progresses. Well, now we're looking at a guy who's former AWA heavyweight champion, Nick Bockwinkel. He is one great, tremendous wrestler. And it's going to be very interesting to see how, again, all three of these men at one time, it brings about a different element that they're not used to. You don't have to focus your attention on your opponent. You have to focus your attention on your opponents at the same time. the irony about that is Nick Bockwinkel, of course, well known for being in the stable, if you would, of one Bobby the Brain Heenan, and most of the matches he's involved in, his opponent has to watch not only Bockwinkel but Bobby the Brain Heenan. And to your point, tonight the tables are sort of turned on Nick Bockwinkel, where he now has to pay attention to more than just the man in front of him. He has to worry about what's going on behind him and on either side. There is the AWA World Heavyweight Championship, fans. It's a night of titles here tonight. Of course, Outlaw, Cowboy, call him what you will. Ron Bass will be defending the Florida Heavyweight Championship against Barry Windham in our main event. Look at that, wasting no time. Nick Bockwinkel going straight outside the ring. Maybe the smart move. Well, it is Rick Martel going up against Larry Zbyszko here. Martel going to step out for just a moment. Now look at what is he doing. Martel is up on the top rope. He is way up high. And now Martel caught him with an elbow. Tremendous move by Rick Martel. Goes for the cover. Now you don't have to beat the champion in order to become the champion. And that is a very unusual set of circumstances. Not only that, but it's a big disadvantage if you are Larry Zbyszko. Nice slide out drop kick by Rick Martel right there on the champion. Everybody turning their attention now to Martel. You would think that you might see some teamwork out of Larry Zbyszko and Nick Bockwinkel as a good possibility. These guys aren't too far away from being on the same page, really. Well, that is a possibility, but the thing and the reality is they both want to be the heavyweight champion of the world. Only one of them can be, so you have to wonder, even if they do find moments to work together in this match, can either trust the other? And I say absolutely no. Rick Martel doing the right thing, trying to get a pinfall, even if it wasn't likely going to happen. You have to take as many opportunities as you can get. Now Martel once again outside the ring, and Larry Zbyszko was following him for a moment. Now, well, again, it looks like Nick Bockwinkel and Larry Zbyszko. No, there they go. Martel now really playing a smart game, waiting for his moment to strike, and strike he does. Going to work on the back, and now the back of the head of Larry Zbyszko. Well, Larry Zbyszko was very fortunate because Rick Martel was on the apron. It looked like he was going to try that slingshot body press of his, and if he does do that, and if he does hit that, it's usually all over. Up in the air, but Zbyszko, the champion, out the back door and able to drop Nick Bockwinkel, but he turns around, and once again Rick Martel fighting a smart fight. Going for the cover, still way too early in this match, but again, don't fault Martel. He wants that title, and he wants it badly. Zbyszko, the champion, now with a neck breaker. And now look at this. Oh, for a moment there, I thought. Sleeper hold is on, and now you're going to see Martel has to get involved now, because if Bockwinkel were to submit, the match is over. It is first pinfall or submission winning this one. Martel has him in the turnbuckle now, but Nick Bockwinkel, legendary wrestler. He knows the ins and outs of this wrestling game, and he is not going to be suckered in like some rookie. As evidence right there as he comes out of the suplex, comes up with a belly-to-belly of his own, nicely done, planting Rick Martel hard into the mat. Larry Zbyszko, in the meantime, champion, looking like he hit a brainbuster right there. Hammering down on Rick Martel. Goes for the cover, gets one, and that's all he's going to get. Zbyszko thought the better of it. Now he's back again, and Martel catches him with a bulldog right here on the floor. The Orange County Civic Center is the home. Battle of the Belts. Sullivan, Satan's favorite prince, is in the house as well. Will be taking on the Midnight Rider. Look at this. Going to work on Zbyszko. There's the Irish whip. Down he goes. There's a stiff knee lift. Now Rick Martel with a tremendous move right there. Gut wrench suplex, taking him over. Oh, look at this. Rick Martel now. He's got him deep into that. Larry Zbyszko's title is in trouble. Well, to your point, Larry Zbyszko had to step in and break this one up, or else, yes, that title would have left him. And now, Larry Zbyszko gonna try and put Martel into Larry land if he can. We saw these two men battle it out in an I Quit match that lasted over 35 minutes. Nicely done by the challenger. Now the challenger hooking the leg. He got him! Unbelievable! I have seen a lot, but I didn't expect to see that. Wow, I'll tell you right now, just like that, we have a brand new AWA Heavyweight Champion of the World. And to your point, I have to agree, I'm stunned. I expected him to kick out of that. Give credit where credit is due. Rick Martel wrestled a brilliant match for what this was. He waited his time out. He let these two guys pick each other apart. He jumped in when he needed to. There's that drop kick. Absolutely knocked him out cold. Well, you saw when Zbyszko went down, he clutched the back of his head. He may have really just been put into, well, Larry land. That's probably the best way to put it. Well, he couldn't do it in 35 minutes, but he did it here tonight. There is the new AWA Heavyweight Champion of the World, Rick Martel. Oh, brother, let me tell you what, this crowd is still buzzing about that opening contest. Brand new AWA World Heavyweight Champion crown, Rick Martel. And speaking of the AWA, here are the AWA Tag Team Champions. They are Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, accompanied by Precious Paul Ellering. Those titles are not on the line. However, the NWA Tag Team titles are. Originally, this was supposed to be the Road Warriors going up against Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, but through a series of events that took place recently when we had an event called Mayhem in Moscow, we have got new tag team champions in the NWA. Boris Zukov and Nikolai Volkov. Here's one half of the Soviet Union as they refer to themselves. There are actually two members of the team, but 2K only decided to let you see one of them. That is the title that is on the line here tonight, the NWA Tag Team Championship. One of the most prestigious titles in our business. They are the challengers, even though they are champions. They are looking to add this goal to their title scenario right now as they run roughshod over the AWA. They still feel they have some unfinished business in the NWA to attend to. I'm going to be very, very curious to see how these Bolsheviks do against the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. This will not be the friendly crowd that they had last time out. Look at this. He tried to run in, and that backfires on him right away. Indeed, Boris Zukov saw the Road Warriors talking to one another, thought he'd take advantage of the situation, but did not happen. However, he has managed to gain the offense right here. Stiff knee, straightens up. The Road Warrior, down goes Animal. Well, one thing about these Road Warriors, ever since they lost the NWA Tag Team titles that they're fighting here for tonight to the Rock and Roll Express, they came back with a vengeance. They came back as a totally different team. They went back to their roots, as you can see right here, is Paul Ellering having some words. Boris Zukov dropping him on the back of his head right here on the concrete. But having little to no effect as Animal sends him careening into the steel. Count has reached 5, and the Road Warrior realizing they cannot win the tag team titles with a count out. Overhead, belly-to-belly suplex, and now over he goes with a resounding thud on the landing. We'll see the double team. No. Oh, Zukov did the right thing right there. He did what he had to do, which was very smart, which was get out of that corner immediately, because if the Road Warriors start to do their double team, it's going to be a short night. Let's give credit where credit is due right now. The Road Warriors usually dominating teams at this point, and this has been a very even matchup thus far. Well, right there you saw Zukov made the mistake. He turned his back on his opponent. You can't do that with any opponent, but especially not with the Road Warriors.
Zukov now with a suplex, taking him all the way over. Now, wait a minute. Steel chair, referee didn't see a thing. Nikolai Volkov just got battered with that steel chair. Referee didn't see any of it. But now Bachwick, face first into the chair. Nikolai Volkov wants him on his feet. He absorbed that punishment and is coming back with some of his own. I don't know if anyone expected this much of an offensive showing by the Bolsheviks against the Road Warriors, but they are not going to lay down and give up those titles so easily, that's for certain. Overhead belly-to-back suplex, well executed by Animal.
Tag is made now. We're going to see more double teaming, and this is what we warned about early on. We said if they were able to get into a routine of double teaming, which they are known to do, that they, look at this back body drop, and that didn't work.
Well, right now the Road Warriors have finally gone to their plan, which is cut the ring in half and dominate the opposition through double teams, and that's what they have been doing now. Here's the Irish whip, double flapjack, drops him on his face. No doubting the power of Nikolai Volkov, possibly the strongest man in this match, and that's saying quite a bit. But anybody being dropped head first into the mat is going to be feeling the effects of it. German suplex takes him clear across the ring.
I'll tell you right now, this has been already, we're only 2 matches in. It's been one heck of a night to remember already. Look at this again, just turning it inside out. Everything that they thought they knew, they have to learn again. Look at how it brings them back into the ring.
Yes, indeed. The physical power of the Road Warrior Animal being shown right here on display. There's the tag made, and again, the double team. Double back body drop this time. Nikolai Volkov needs to make the tag. He's been in this ring way too long, in my opinion. Tremendous headbutt, but look at this. The Road Warrior just stood up to it and now fights his way back. There's the Irish whip, and Zukov is in the ring. He should not be in the ring, but he is. Once again, the Irish whip. There's the tag made. Are we going to see it?
Oh, if he hits with this one, it's all over. We could have new team champions crowned right here. You have to love 2K's targeting system. It sucks so badly, it's not funny.
And now Volkov goes for a cover here. He won't even get a 1 count. He needs to make that tag. Instead, he gets baited outside the ring. Here's the run to the ropes, back out front, back body, drop again. The Road Warriors is really doing a number on these two guys. Ever since that one tide turn, they have dominated the double team. They have kept that ring cut in half, and they have done a number on Nikolai Volkov. Oh, that time Nikolai Volkov did the right thing. And there is the power that we discussed early on about Nikolai Volkov. He is able to press someone like Animal overhead, driving him down across the knee, but he's unable to follow up with it, and I believe he was distracted to a certain degree by Paul Ellering at ringside. From the middle rope, he comes with that sledgehammer down across the head. One, he's two, and just barely managing to get off the mat. We are looking at the possibility of new tag team champions here for the NWA. Driving the wind out of the sails. Somehow Volkov still managing to kick out. Well, you're right, somehow. That is the thing. How is he doing it is what I'd like to know. Nikolai Volkov with a tremendous free-fall slam, and now he's going to finally tag out. But you have to wonder if he's going to be any use whatsoever to Boris Zukov if he finds himself in trouble right now, because Volkov just took so much of a beating, so much punishment. And now the referee having trouble getting Nikolai Volkov out of the ring. Would not surprise me at all if these gentlemen get themselves disqualified just to retain those titles.
Well, they've made it clear they're here to prove that Moscow was not a fluke. It was not a home field advantage. It was that they are the best tag team in the world. If they were to beat the AWA Tag Team Champions right here, that would go a long way to making the argument.
He went for it and he lost. He tried to hit with that Russian sickle. And now it is Animal throwing him into the corner. Tag made double team coming up. There's that flying double shoulder tackle.
Well, both these men with a background in football at different levels of collegiate, they know how to throw a tackle, and they just showed it right there. But look at this. Boris Zukov, well, a little bit early, I think, to make that tag back. Nikolai took a lot of punishment, and I think he probably needed more rest than he got. Not sure how happy he is about the tag being made.
All right, now Volkov has the upper hand, and he is starting to work it.
Knee right to the head, and out goes. Boot to the midsection. Nicely done right there.
Well, he's got the attention, but Nikolai Volkov, back body drops, and Hawk takes the fall. And once again, this match is back and forth, and once again, the champions, the defending champions to be specific, have momentum back in their corner.
Well, they're doing a good job of getting in and out now. That's something they weren't doing. But they still haven't cut the ring in half nearly as well.
Oh, brother. There's a clothesline out of Chicago. Tag is made. And there's a doomsday device. Going for the cover. He hooks the leg. Will that be enough? Yes, it is. And we've got new NWA Tag Team Champions.
Well, It's called the Battle of the Belts because the belts are on the line, and that's what it's all about here. The NWA Tag Team title reign of the Bolsheviks cut very short here in Orlando, Florida.
We go back and we look at how the Road Warriors did a tremendous job of breaking this thing down. They did a great job with the double teams. The Bolsheviks came back eventually and would make it look a lot closer than perhaps it was. But here, following that doomsday device and a tragic targeting system by 2K Sports, there are now the AWA and NWA World Tag Team Champions, the Legion of Doom.
I'll tell you right now, the Road Warriors will be heading into Super Clash having to decide what titles they're going to defend.
Well, that's a problem that I'm sure Paul Ellering will have no problem handling. Fans, we've got plenty more action still to come. Don't go away. All right, we are back live from the Orange County Civic Center. Orlando, Florida is the home for the Battle of the Belts. Making his way down the ring at this time. He's been doing some double duty here in the FWF lately.
Well, basically, he has been on both the Championship Wrestling of Florida roster as well as the NWA's main stage. Of course, with the NWA, he's the leader of the Varsity Club, but here in the Championship Wrestling of Florida, he is just a sadistic madman gone amok. And it was originally supposed to be Kevin Sullivan against Dusty Rhodes, but as has been well documented, Dusty Rhodes got suspended almost 2 months ago now for actions against the Four Horsemen, which were in retribution. But filling in for Dusty Rhodes has been a longtime friend of his, a man called the Midnight Rider.
And we get our first look here at the Midnight Rider. There are those in the NWA who would have you believe that he and Dusty Rhodes are one and the same. President San Martino has declined to believe that and said unless that they can offer physical proof, the Midnight Rider will take on the contracts of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. this crowd soundly behind the Midnight Rider and his message. Kevin Sullivan saying, bring it on.
All right, this is what they call a bunkhouse match. Anything goes in this one. No love lost between Dusty Rhodes and Kevin Sullivan. Now we're going to see just how much of that the Midnight Rider brings along, being such close friends.
Well, there's a kendo stick, but Kevin Sullivan able to strike a blow before that kendo stick can come into use. And it is the Midnight Rider fighting his way back.
Wow, he just got him right in the head, and he's dazed. Kevin Sullivan right now doesn't know where he is.
Yeah, that blow definitely took something out of Sullivan. And the Midnight Rider going to work now on the trapezius area, but pinfalls and submissions will count only inside the ring. Has to be inside the squared circle for this one.
Just ran Kevin Sullivan headfirst into the exposed concrete floor. And now going to work on him with that kendo stick.
Sullivan now fighting his way back after being on the receiving end of much of the punishment in this one early on. Oh, round and round he goes. Bad stop coming up.
That airplane spin will really leave you dazed and confused. And now look at this. The Midnight Rider just ran him into the steps here at ringside and continues to do damage to all parts of the body of Kevin Sullivan.
Well, we wondered early on how much of the animosity on the part of the American Dream Dusty Rhodes would carry over to this feud with the Midnight Rider filling in, and we can see that he really has taken it personal, the attacks against the American Dream. Oh, teeing off right now on Sullivan. Down goes the Prince of Darkness, and now the referee goes down for the cover, gets two. 2 count only at that point, and it was close. The fans here in Orlando thought it was over.
Well, I thought it was over too, to be honest with you. Look at this. Loads it up. There's the big elbow right down on the head, and that should be all.
This could be an absolute upset. It's over.
Wow, what a one-sided match that turned out to be, and I was not expecting that to happen.
Well, I've got to tell you, I thought it was going to be a little bit more back and forth myself, but the Midnight Rider came out here with a purpose. He had a message to deliver, and deliver it he did. Kevin Sullivan defeated at the hands of the Midnight Rider here as part of Battle of the Belts. Florida Heavyweight Championship is on the line. Cowboy Ron Bass, Barry Windham, don't go away. All right, fans, this is the main event of the evening. The Florida Heavyweight Championship will be decided right here tonight. Cowboy Ron Bass, he's held that title now for over a month and a half. Barry Windham has come close on one or two occasions, but tonight he has promised he is going to make it all come together. This young man out of Sweetwater, Texas, he is the son of the legendary Blackjack Mulligan. One of the greatest big men to ever step inside the ring. He moves around like a cruiserweight, but he isn't.
Yeah, you're so right about that. I'll tell you right now, Barry Windham, just short of 7 foot tall. He's a tall guy. He's like 6'5", 6'6". Weighs 265, but he moves around like he's nothing, like a paperweight.
He has an aerial arsenal that would make cruiserweights jealous. There is the FCW champion, Cowboy Ron Bass, proudly displaying that championship belt that will be decided right here tonight. This is the main event of Battle of the Belts. Good look at the Florida Heavyweight Championship, the title for which these two men are about to contest. Looking at the challenger out of Sweetwater, Texas, as we alluded to, 265. He's got a tremendous track record. Barry Windham going to try and make the dream come true here tonight, but to do that, he's going to have to get past the man we are looking at right there in the ring, and that is the big Texas Cowboy, Ron Bass.
You know, the bad blood runs deep between these two men now, because Ron Bass was never a big fan of Blackjack Mulligan, and they had their own run-ins.
Well, it's definitely been a family affair, no two ways about that. Windham never taking his eyes off the champion, not even to look down at that belt. Well, sounds action underway, and here we go. This is our main event. Barry Windham with a cross ankle, and down goes Bass, dropping the leg down across the throat of the champion.
Well, now you see Ron Bass doing the exact same thing right back to Barry Windham. How's that? Not going to let the kid get an upper hand on him, not for one moment.
Well, we mentioned it earlier. Barry Windham going quickly to the top rope. Splashes down across the body of the champion.
Yeah, and we did talk about it earlier. He's got that high-flying ability. He can move very, very quickly around the ring. And I believe that's a big advantage he holds over Ron Bass. Now, will that be enough to offset what might be a strength or power advantage by Bass? And if so, even then, by only a small amount.
Well, now you see that ruggedness coming out of Ron Bass as he hammers down with some clenched fists on the head of Barry Windham. But Windham right back into this thing with a belly-to-belly suplex. Back and forth we go as Ron Bass now in control and stretching Barry Windham. Look at this.
Oh, yeah, he's pulling way back on that hamstring, and that'll separate it. Wyndham doing the right thing to get out of that one quickly, because if you stay in there for too long, it's going to be a bad situation. One-legged wrestlers don't win too many matches. You can ask Zach Gowen that.
And now look at this. Not used to this. Ron Bass from the top rope. I really feel like he is trying to prove a point to Barry Windham that he can beat him in any style, but I've got to wonder if it is smart for him to go away from the formula that has been successful for him just to prove a point. Now Windham with a big right. Overhand right. Follows it up. Belly to back suplex, and down he deposits the champion.
Barry Windham right now, he's got the champion down. Drives a knee to the head. Smart move. There's that Texas lariat. Barry Windham, he's an all-around superstar, and the fact that he does not have a belt around his waist of any kind is truly a sin. He and Mike Rotundo were going after those tag team titles for quite a while a few months ago, but then there was a falling out. Apparently, Rotundo now a member of the Varsity Club. Wyndham's gone his own way and would like nothing more than to bring this title home.
And he gets one count only. Bass trying to work the left arm of Barry Windham. Windham having nothing to do with it. Fights right out. Gets the big cowboy up. Couldn't hold him.
Well, both of these men very accomplished, very experienced wrestlers. But I have to say the experience advantage would have to go to Cowboy Ron Bass. I believe he's done it longer against a larger variety of opponents.
Well, you may be right. And there is no substitute for experience, I can tell you that. But Barry Windham has this way of learning on the fly. And I think if anyone's going to upset, and I don't know that it would be an upset, but anyone was to defeat Ron Bass, it would be possibly Barry Windham right here tonight. Oh, brother, Windham out the back door on that one. And he's got the claw hold on. The claw hold is on Barry. Wyndham's got outlaw Cowboy Ron Bass in trouble. The Cowboy fighting his way back out, and he manages to survive it.
Wow, I'll tell you right now, I thought that was going to be the beginning of the end for sure.
And now the champion doing a number on the challenger. He's got him up in the air. Face first, flapjack into the mat.
Now, this right here is a mistake. Ron Bass should not be turning to the fans. He should be taking care of business inside the ring with Windham. Very fortunate that didn't backfire on him.
Definitely one of those moments that you could live to regret later on. Windham now goes for the cover, hooks the leg. Will it be enough? No, only 2 count there. Belly to back, suplex by the Cowboy. Once again, looking at the crowd. And you know he's not caring about getting any support from this crowd. It's just like he wants to rub it in their face that he's hurting one of their favorites.
Yeah, and that's all well and good. I mean, you know, everyone has their own style, but if you want to keep that Florida title around your waist, wow, he almost had it right there. I was going to say, then you better pay attention to the man in the ring, not the ones outside.
Windham went for that big running lariat, but nobody home. Windham hooks the leg. You're not going to get the Cowboy like that. Now Barry Windham putting a boot to the chest. of the Florida heavyweight champion, Ron Bass. Bass sent into the turnbuckle. What is Wyndham thinking? He's got him up on the top rope. He's going to do it from the middle. Belly to back suplex, folds the champion in half. Wyndham going to go for the cover. Will that be enough? We may have a new champion right here. No. I'll tell you right now, I thought this one was over.
I tell you, it looked like it, didn't it? Wyndham had him in all kinds of trouble. To his credit, Bass had enough left to kick out, but look at this. Cowboy Ron Bass just give a back elbow right to the face of Barry Windham.
Oh, Wyndham reversed out of it. Northern Light suplex, and he almost held it for the pin attempt. Wyndham really. Here's a lariat. And another one. Flying drop kick. That Texas lariat once again has Ron Bass down and in trouble.
Oh, wow. Did you see that? Bounced his head right off the mat. Drove the knee into the back of the head. Now Ron Bass using the momentum and the weight of Barry Windham against himself, but it only buys him a moment. There's the claw, and it's on again.
Windham has the claw hold deep. We may be looking at a new Florida champion right here. Windham. Oh, Bass fights out of it. Now delivering the backbreaker is Ron Bass.
Near 300 pounds coming down on the chest of Barry Windham right there. But Windham with a deep arm drag taking Ron Bass over. You have to ask yourself, which one of these men is going to make the mistake? Which one of these men is going to put themselves in the position where they can't kick out of what they get hit with?
And there's not much they haven't been hit with in this one, let me tell you. Oh, brother, Barry Windham's got that head blocked on there with the legs, but Bass right out the back door having almost no effect. Windham caught him with a DDT. Barry Windham, the challenger, dropping the champion.
Barry Windham, tip to tail, going coast to coast, and damage on Bass will not be enough. There's two.
Oh, and Bass just barely getting shoulders off the mat that time, but he knows he's in trouble. Windham again going to those head scissors. And Ron Bass has been busted wide open. Ron Bass, the face, quickly becoming a crimson mask here in Orlando.
The blood flowing down the face, and that has got to raise the urgency level in Ron Bass.
This crowd is behind Barry Windham. They want to see it. They want that title change to take place. Claw hold is on, and the blood-soaked head of Ron Bass.
Now, that blood may keep Windham from getting a good grip on this thing. And I think that may be very well what just happened as Bass manages to survive that claw hold.
Windham with a sit-out slam, and down goes the champion.
Wow, Barry Windham really doing a number on the head of Ron Bass. And the champion now grabs the leg drags him over.
Big neck breaker right there by the outlaw. Cowboy Ron Bass depositing the 5 knuckles to the forehead of Windham, but Windham fights his way back up. He staggers him. He stuns him. Bulldog into the canvas.
Oh, if he goes for the cover right there, I think it would have been over. Wow, Cowboy Ron Bass really bleeding badly right now.
The crimson mask, that is the face of Cowboy Ron Bass. Referee may have to start thinking about getting involved in this one, but the Texas pile driver.
Wow, Barry Windham just crumbled under that. Will that be enough? 1, 2. Barry Windham just barely gets his shoulder up off the mat.
It is getting very hard to see the face of Ron Bass. Delivering some payback to Barry Windham for some of the offense he's been hit with. We saw right there that knee to the back of the head. And now Bass, nobody home. Barry Windham playing possum on that one.
Oh, Windham looked like he was going for something there, but Ron Bass throws him off. And now Ron Bass, what's he going to do?
Use a claw hold of his own. Oh, and barely getting that shoulder off the mat. Give credit where credit is due. Both of these men have taken one hell of a beating here tonight, and they are still going. You look at the face of Ron Bass, and that tells a story all by itself.
Windham just ran in for that lariat, and the outlaw, the Cowboy, caught him.
Up in the air he goes, and sit out, slam by Ron Bass. Texas power slam, Barry Windham down, hooks the leg. Will this be enough for Bass? It is! Ron Bass retains the Florida Heavyweight Championship in what was a battle of the ages here as part of Battle of the Belts.
I'll tell you, it really looked like Barry Windham had things going his way. Once he busted Ron Bass open and that blood was just everywhere, I thought for sure Barry Windham was going to coast to victory. Ron Bass did just enough to survive. And then there's that big power slam, which was just enough to be victorious. But I still have to wonder if it isn't just a matter of time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, still the Florida Heavyweight Champion, Cowboy Ron Bass. We want to thank you for joining us for Battle of the Belts. Live from Orlando, Florida, we say so long and good night.